I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you all for coming. Alrighty. Public participation on agenda items?
I believe there were none.
Perfect.
They slept in.
Alrighty, approve resolution 2022-26 requesting an operating referendum.
Yes, as you, Thomas Peterson, Bond Counsel, as you remember, on November 22nd, the board adopted a resolution requesting to do this operating referendum. There is some information that had to be provided by the county auditor, which was not available by your November 22nd meeting. So we had 2 blanks in the resolution at the point with the designation to be provided by the auditor. So we sent, then a week later, we sent the language in. We still didn't have the number from the county auditor. We sent the language into the DLGF. Still didn't receive it for another week. They have a total of 10 days to approve or disapprove the language. We finally were able to provide them with the auditor's financial information on day 8. They were not pleased with the DLGF. And the reason that they gave to me was that they felt the board, when they adopted the resolution, needed to acknowledge and understand what the percentage, and the missing numbers are a guesstimate of what the percentage increase would be for someone's operating tax levy would be in a percentage basis. And you have to have it for both an individual home and for a business. So there are 2 percentage numbers. And so they decided not to approve our language since it had not been filled in. So that's why, 2 things. That's why when we put together the calendar, Andy, Dana, and I back at the beginning, we had the process start early enough to leave ourselves some leeway. Interestingly enough, there's 2 places where we have discretion to put language. One is to describe what it is you're going to do with the money, and the other is there's supposed to be just a statement of the last time you had a referendum. Well, you haven't had one before, so I crafted some unique language. They approved both of those. That's where I always have back and forth fights. I can actually tell you that I've only gotten language approved on the first time once, because normally their whole view is the language they say cannot be persuasive to trying to, you can't have language that vote for us or you hate children program, they won't accept that, obviously. But anyway, they were fine with both the description we had of what we were calling this use of the proceeds. They were fine with the statement that you've never had a referendum before. Normally they say people just leave that blank, but I kind of felt it was important at this point to point out to your voters that this is the first time that you've come before them in the history of Dry Creek to ask for it. So again, they were fine with that, but they didn't like the 2 blanks for the percentages. So the resolution before you sets out all the same factual information for the estimated revenue from the levy, the estimated rate for the levy, and then fills in the 2 blanks. The average property tax paid to the corporation on a residence would increase by 25.5% for the operating fund. Oh, yes. And then the average for a business property will be increased by 24.5%. And so with those filled in, Mr. President, it's my recommendation that you approve this resolution.
Thank you. Any questions?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion second. Any further discussion?
I know from the aspect of the school corporation, the percentages in the ballot question are a little bit misleading, and so we will do, with due diligence, communicate to our public the difference of those percentages and what reality is, what they currently pay. And then, Mr. Peterson, from this point, if the board approves this resolution, then what's the timeline and then process after?
I will file it this afternoon with the DLGF, and it starts a new 10-day period for them. So I would expect we would have their answer before which, considering that the cutoff date for this is the middle of February, we're still in great shape.
So if they approve and then it goes to the Lake County Elections Board and officially then gets put on the ballot.
Correct. And I have more news about that after we're done with this section.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
I am headed over to the beloved Lake County Courthouse to meet with the election board, to get the certificate signed that no one has requested a referendum on your construction project.
Cool.
So you will not need to borrow Hanover signs that say vote yes twice, because you only have one item on, as a referendum on the main ballot.
So now we have to make sense to say yes.
Uh-huh.
We know.
You just have ones that say, uh-huh.
The super PAC will, whatever they call it.
And I would, as a board indulgence, I would like to, find your athletic director to be the one to tell her. Because I think whatever she visually sees at the time that she gets that will be, conceived as a really happy and positive thing.
We've been getting daily texts asking.
Really?
Yes, I know you're shocked, but.
I mean, she's a wonderful person. I've never seen anybody more vibrant for kids. than
Just make sure you
she is.
play it a little bit, you know.
But she was worried that it wouldn't go through, or somebody would.
She was. She was wanting to make sure.
It's
Well,
one of those
somebody's
things
got to play with her on that.
until it's done.
I wish I knew that would have.
Well,
I called her last night on a separate situation, and the first thing she said when she picked up the phone, please tell me you're not calling me with bad news. I mean, that's what she said about.
Well, if anything
Somebody really
happened,
must
it
have
was
thrown it.
between 3 o'clock on Friday.
I never thought about it again until now. I mean,
Come on.
Yeah.
they gotta do that, so.
So anyway, that's where I'm headed.
I went through once before with the junior high too.
meeting adjourned.